Voters got their first chance to see a policy debate between the Republican candidates for governor on 9 News. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
And I'm Phil Lipoff. For the first time, Ministry Leader Victor Marx showed up for a debate with his primary opponents, State Senator Bob Kirkmeyer and State Representative Scott Bottoms. Marshall Zellinger co-moderated that debate along with Kyle Clark. Marshall is live at the University of Denver for us tonight. And Marshall, the debate will most likely be remembered for the Victor Marx factor, but a lot of policy questions too.
Yeah, since it was the first time the three shared a stage together, we did expect personality moments, but we also need to extract the policy and leadership of the candidacies. On the topic of budgets, Victor Marx has said he wants to audit each department, but the state auditor already does that every year. Marx told me he doesn't trust the state auditing the state.
I opened up the long bill the other day and started looking at it and thought, pretty complicated.
Not for me.
Is that an apology?
No, I said not for me.
I think getting the right eyes on it, doing the right audits, will help keep people accountable.
That was Barb Kirkmeyer you heard say, not for me. She is one of 6 lawmakers on the Joint Budget Committee, the powerful lawmakers that write the budget every year. She supports a potential ballot issue that would require the state to spend $700 million a year on roads. And that would come at the expense of K-12 education, even Medicaid. But she tells me it wouldn't because the state, to her, has a spending problem, not a revenue problem.
What has happened over the course of the last 4 years that I've been on the Joint Budget Committee is the governor comes in with a budget request that is not balanced, and then I have to sit there and fight with Democrats for about 6 months to get it into line, and we have to determine where our priorities are. And they like to go off and spend money on things that we shouldn't be spending money on, basically, that are not core functions of government.
In his 4 years in the legislature, State Representative Scott Bottoms has had one bill make it past the first step of the process, and it's a commemorative license plate that has become law. He says he can save $20 billion by eliminating 2 major areas that all residents cover the cost in the state.
The ability to accomplish this across the state is not that big of a deal. We do have those, so property tax does go into county, and income tax goes into the state. I actually want to do away with both of them.
Well, to cover the money lost in property and income taxes, Bottoms said he would end funding for abortion, transgender surgeries, and illegal immigrant programs, which really gets to about 0.5% of the $20 billion. We tried to extract what we could for you ahead of the Republican primary, not just these quips that sound good or make little bitty 3, 4, 5 second social media hits, but also to get to some policy issues that will help a voter make an informed decision.
Hey, and Marshall, you and Kyle did it. If you guys can't do it, nobody can do it. You got to the policy, and there were 3 very different candidates up there on stage. If you're a Republican in this state and you are looking for your person, do you think people change their opinions tonight of any one of these 3 candidates?
Well, I'll tell you, I did a roundtable with some students last week here at DU, and I talked with one of them who wanted to hear policy from Victor Marx. Talked with him afterwards. He didn't quite hear it and said he hadn't made a decision. It wasn't a definite, like, I'm voting for the guy that I was expecting to. He said he might even just sit out of the primary. I'm sure if you're already in, Phil, with a specific candidate, you heard exactly what you wanted to. But if you're an unaffiliated voter that's considering voting in the Republican primary, it depends on what you want. If you want a showman, maybe you heard what you want. If you want policy, maybe you heard what you want from some of the other candidates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were all very, very different, and in some respects, you know, in a debate, you never want to answer certain questions. So it's how you manage to answer some of those questions, and you guys held them accountable. It was fascinating to see how they really don't like each other.
It's because it's rare that they're in the same area together, and I don't know that it's necessarily don't like each other or just how they talk about each other. There was some civility in moments, but yeah, when you're finally in front of each other and you've been quite like insulting each other in statements or in videos, but not face to face, it can be a little awkward.
Yeah. I mean, they're all so different, and I think it was, you know, things are getting close now.
Yeah.
So you're right. They're having to get a little snippy.
And you're right, with the answers that you get at a debate, it was as substantive as it could have been. Marshall, thank you.